Well, good morning, everyone. I am actually sitting out in front of this retro game store because they have decided to open the game vault. And they showed some of the things they've apparently been stocking. I don't know if they've been storing these items or not. I may have to ask them. But they decided to go ahead and unlock the vault today. And they have a whole bunch of stuff that I usually don't see in this store, which is funny because I'm in here a lot trying to find this stuff. So if they have been storing it, I guess it wasn't really the best idea in terms of me anyway. But I guess it got me out here early this morning to sit out here and wait. There is currently nobody in front of the store, and I'm waiting in my car. It's not really the kind of weather where you can just sit outside, at least not yet. It's kind of warm in my car, so I'm just waiting for them to open, and we'll see what they have. Here are some of the pictures of some of the things they had. I'm not quite sure if all of these are going to be things that are already there. I'm assuming they're already out. I don't know if this is all they have, is what I'm trying to say. So we'll see there. A couple of things that caught my interest was this Resident Evil for Sega Saturn. I'm not quite sure what the price is on it out of memory, but I'll put whatever it is up in the corner here. And I'm thinking that this game might be something I can do to compare it to the Sony PlayStation version, if I ever go that route and do a early polygon 3D kind of war. So another game that caught my eye is the one sitting next to it. I actually don't recall the title off the top of my head, but here it is, and I did a little research and found out that this is a game I don't have in my collection already, and if it's cheap enough, I might get it as well. Complete in-box Sega Saturn titles really do elude me. It's hard to find these things. So moving on to what drew me to this store. Number one, this is my second chance to get a JVC XI. I'm actually not sure. I have a sneaking suspicion this is the same one that was there months ago, and they just re-put it back out now because they couldn't sell it at the price they wanted to, and of course the value of these has gone up. That's my suspicion. Probably not. This is my second chance to try to get one of those. It wasn't worth it to me before, but since my CDX is acting up a little bit, and this is obviously another piece of console history I don't own, I may be getting it. But next to that is a Magnavox CDI. But wait a minute, that's actually not a Magnavox CDI, that is a Turbo Duo. So yes, I actually walked into this store thinking I was going to get a CDI, and instead I found the Turbo Duo. And that made sense to why they were asking the price they were. This is actually the first time I've ever seen one of these in person, and I am seriously considering getting this. So anyway, I'm going to try to see about getting this. That's what got me out of here. They do have an Atari Lynx here that I don't think I've recognized. It looks like an Atari Lynx, but as far as I know, I have the Lynx 2, not the original, and I don't know what version this is. I don't know if I've ever seen this before. Now that I'm recalling this, I thought it was the Lynx 2, but I already have the Lynx 2, so I don't know what revision this is, but at least it might be worth taking a look. There are a few complete in-box N64 games, and I have been trying to collect for the N64 a little bit more just to build up the collection. Again, preparing for that early Polygon 3D war thing. I don't know. It's untitled at the moment, so I don't know what I'm going to call it. I can't call it the 32-bit war, thanks to the Nintendo 64. So maybe I'll call it the 3D-bit war. Ooh. What if you guys have a name for that series coming up? Let me know down in the comments. I'd like to see what you guys think about it. I'm looking out here in this parking lot, and I'm kind of amazed at the cars that are already parked out here, because I don't think any of the businesses are open, except for maybe the haircutting place that's over here. It's a haircut chain. The Mexican restaurant's not open. So I eventually found out why I got there a lot earlier than everyone else. I actually thought the store opened about an hour earlier than they actually did. And yes, at this time in the morning, this shopping center is very abandoned, and so I was able to get some B-roll footage here. But once other people started showing up, and they eventually did, I was not able to keep filming. After a little while, about a half hour before the store opened, a lot of people started showing up for the vault. And before I knew it, people were lined up all the way down this area here that I'm filming on the outside. So it was a good idea I got here early because they ended up giving us numbered vouchers. The problem is, The way that this worked is I was only able to select 2 items, and then I had to wait till everyone's number was called before I could select anything else. So even though I was given the pick of the litter, I was not able to pick everything I wanted out of this lot because there were other people who selected items after me. So what did I end up getting out of the case? Well, let's go ahead and take a look. Alright, starting with the not-so-rare game finds here, this is Call of Duty Finest Hour for the Nintendo GameCube. I actually didn't have this. I had Big Red One for the GameCube, but not this game. Of course, this will be a good game to compare against the Xbox and the PlayStation 2 when I get down to doing that, but that seems like it's going to be years away at this point. Sadly, it does not have the manual, but I decided to get it anyway because I don't find this title too often. Next I got Marvel Nemesis, Rise of the Imperfects, which I believe is a fighting game. I kind of enjoy seeing Marvel games before the start of the MCU. The artwork and everything just doesn't sync up with that, and it kind of reminds me of the old comic book style. This game does include the game manual, so I decided to get it. Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess is actually a game I already own twice. I have it for the Wii, and I also have it in HD for the Wii U. But I did not have the version on the GameCube. And unlike what you would normally think, this game was actually released a few weeks after it was released on the Wii, not before. I am interested to find out if this game is any different from the versions I've already played. It also appears to be complete in box, so this is definitely one I wanted to pick up. And with titles for the GameCube, I always look at the disc because these things are actually harder to resurface than any other disc, because most disc resurfacing equipment is built to handle the full-size disc, and I want to make sure that they resurface this so I don't have to return it later. So Twilight Princess was actually inside of the vault, and I had to wait until I could actually pick it up. Luckily they had multiple copies of it because other people had chosen that as one of the titles they wanted. Bloody Roar 4 was also in the vault, and I think it's because this game doesn't pop up too often. I actually remember playing the game demo for this on the original PlayStation 1, at least at that time it was Bloody Roar 2. I've never played this game, but I was a fan of its earlier entries, so I'm looking forward to see how this one measures up. If you watched one of my previous live streams, I actually streamed my first impression of this game. Klonoa was actually recommended to me by one of the people on the stream, and I never thought I would find one as this title is incredibly rare these days, at least in North America. Sadly, it is a former rental, and it has this ugly sticker on here that'll most likely have to stay on it. But I'm happy to say this game did play well, and I actually really enjoyed the title. Its 2.5D graphics style actually kind of reminds me of games that were released on the Sega Saturn in the early part of its life cycle. Another game also in the vault was Resident Evil 3 Nemesis. And again, I think it was in the vault because this is just a game that doesn't show up too often, at least in a retro game store. I have actually never played this game, as I wasn't a big fan of Resident Evil games when the PlayStation was in its prime. But I'm very happy to be able to try this on its original hardware before they start charging $80 for a remake. Here's something I don't collect too often. This is a complete in-box N64 title, and this is the original Quake. This is another game that has eluded me in my collecting journey, and so I decided to get it, as this was the only version the store had. So if there was a cheaper version where it was loose, I probably would have bought that instead. They had Quake 2 complete in box as well, but I already have that game loose and I really didn't want to buy that game again. But anyway, very happy to pick this one up. Alright, moving on to the next batch of games, I got Resident Evil for the Sega Saturn. I wasn't actually going to get this game, but the person next to me in line talked me into it. I was told that this is actually the best port of this game, as it was the last one that Capcom produced, and therefore they were able to work out a lot of bugs, and they spent a lot of time and attention importing it to the Sega Saturn. And also, since this game was released towards the later part of the Sega Saturn's life cycle, it was at a time when developers really had a handle on how to program for the hardware. I have since replaced the front cover as it was damaged when I got it, and that's probably why it was listed so cheap. So yeah, I am definitely happy to have grabbed this game. As featured in my Ultimate Sega 32X review, I got Space Harrier as well. This is actually one of the better ports of the game from this time period, at least in my opinion. I believe there's some controversy surrounding this title, and I think it comes back to frame rate, but I'm not too certain. But I enjoyed this game, and I am definitely happy to have it for the 32X. And here's another game I was surprised I didn't already have. It turned out the version I already had was for the Super Nintendo. But here is Battletoads and Double Dragon. And so far this would be a very impressive pickup. Again, I don't find titles of this caliber very often, and it's very rare for me to find them all at once. But I'm actually showing you these items in reverse order. The very first item I picked up was the Turbo Duo. Along with that, I ended up getting Splatterhouse because I didn't already have it for the TurboGrafx 16, and that's partially because when I had them test out the console in front of me, I had to have a game for them to try out the card port to make sure it worked. Along with that, I also had to have them test out the CD drive to make sure that it would spin up and load a game, and with that, I picked up Ys 3, Wanderer from Ys. Even though I know the disc works because I had them fired up in the store, we can still take a look at the disc to see that it has been resurfaced and hence is mostly scratch-free. And even though I already own the TurboGrafx CD unit, I decided to go ahead and get the Turbo Duo because it has some advantages that other setup does not. First off, it does have the Super CD System chip version 3 built into this system, which will play most, if not all, of the Super CD titles released in the US. It did come with the AV cables and the power adapter, and everything seems to work, but it does have some problems. Even though I had them tested in the store, when I came home and tried to play a game, I noticed that the volume was very, very quiet when I was playing CD-based games. And if the game had CD audio, it would play for a slight bit and then cut off. And though I'd love to whip out my multimeter and soldering iron to fix some of these issues, I unfortunately don't have the time to diagnose or come up with a fix for this. So I decided to look for someone who could help me fix this console. And after looking online, I did find someone who was willing to fix this console. So stay tuned for the next video, where I send out my Turbo Duo unit as well as my original TurboGrafx CD to get them both recapped and repaired so that they will last a while and so I don't run into issues when I film the Ultimate TurboGrafx CD review. That said, that is going to wrap it up for this video. Remember, if you like what you see, please remember to click the like button on your way out. Also leave a comment below, let me know what you guys liked about today's video, let me know what you'd like to see in the future. As always, I want to thank you all so much for watching, and stay tuned because I have more content coming. I will see you all in the next one. If you like this video and you'd like to help out with future projects on this channel, please consider supporting me on Patreon. Also, if you enjoy the content of this channel, please remember to click on this subscribe button. Again, I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Otherwise, I'll see you next time.